Hello YouTube, I'm Joanna and this is my co-host Tina and we are crafting with Tina. For today's craft, we're going to make this beautiful flower. I got this idea from a book called This Can Be Beautiful. The author is Tiffany Pratt, and let me hold this up a little closer so you can see all of these lovely colors. And this is just made with coffee filters and watercolor. Now, a word of warning here, and follow these directions closely. If someone in your house loves coffee and has coffee filters, ask them for permission first, because you do not want to get on someone's bad side if they love coffee and they can't make their coffee. An alternative would be if you have tissue paper. You could cut tissue paper in circles to get a similar effect. Okay, so let's get started. I took Tina for a long walk today, so she is hopefully going to be a little bit drowsy. We went out in the park, which I found has been really good for social distancing, to at least be able to have an opportunity to be out and about, even if it's not, you know, doing some of the things we typically enjoy. I know Tina is loving all these extra walks. So let's see how many I used for this one to get an example. So there's 20 here. So the more of these you use, of course, the fuller the look will be. Let's see, I'm going to estimate that this is about 20 right here. So the first thing you'll do is just take each piece out, give it a little fluff. Give it a little fluff. Tina is extraordinarily prone to getting toilet paper, tissue paper. What else do you like, Tina? She likes wrapping paper rolls. Really just any kind of paper she can get her hands on, or her paws on, rather. So I can tell right now this is a very big temptation for her, and she is being a lovely assistant. I might reward her when we get through this video with one of these just to demolish, because, you know, you gotta keep this little pupper happy, don't you? Yeah. So as I'm getting closer to what will be the middle of the flower, you might want to just scrunch these up a little bit. And it will be a process of just kind of playing with it, as with most of the crafts I do, right, Tina? You just sort of play with what you're working on and the materials until it looks like you had envisioned. Who knows, maybe you luck out. Maybe it's even better than you envisioned. This little Tina here, look at this. She is just giving me the look of love, and I am eating it up. Absolutely adorable, Tina. All right, let's keep going. I don't know if you guys have been counting. I haven't. I'm just going to keep stacking these in here until it looks, you know, like a suitable flower. Now, what would you do with said flower, you ask? My favorite thing to do is to pop this on top of a gift. You know, you get a big birthday gift, you put that on there, really makes a statement. I absolutely love wrapping gifts, and I find that it's nice to make or have little things like this on hand, so that when it does come time for a special occasion, you've got some things handy that you can work with. You don't have to start from scratch. Okay, it's getting good. This is getting good, you guys. I'm feeling committed to this. What do you think, Tina? Tina seems to be in agreement. Now there is one step. It's really the only fussy, sort of, I guess you would say, fussy step in all of this. And that is putting all of these pieces together, securing them, and we'll do that with a needle and thread. And if you haven't used a needle and thread before, or if you're a young kid, definitely ask for some help from an adult, because, you know, needles by their nature are sharp and you just want to be careful not to prick yourself. I still do sometimes. It's not the worst thing in the world, but still unpleasant. You want to avoid it if you can. Quick sewing lesson here for those who want one. Right now I'm just going to thread the needle. Thread the needle, like that song. Clarence Carter. Threading the needle, exactly what it sounds like. And then you bring the thread through until it meets the other side of the thread. Pull this up. And now we're just going to put a knot at the end. Oh, I know. She is, well, it's been a good minute or two since I gave you a treat, huh, Tina? Here you go, girl. I really shouldn't be rewarding her for whining, but we'll make an exception, as you are a YouTube star, and quite clearly you're the star of the show, Tina. Yes, you are. There you go. Okay, so I have a knot here at the end, and I'm going to start from the bottom side so that we don't see that knot in the middle. Let's see how this goes. Ooh, it's a little bit of a struggle. You can hear it squeaking through. You just bring it through the middle, and then the first time I don't pull too hard because that knot can still slip through the paper, so we're not going to pull too hard, are we? Nope. And you know, Tina's being such a little angel right now. I'm going to give her one of these coffee filters as a treat. What do you think, Tina? That will keep her occupied for about 30 seconds. Can we set the timer? Set the clock. Okay. So I'm just bringing this back up through and then back down. And there's no specific spot where you need to bring the needle through, just somewhere, you know, around the middle. One of the lovely things about this project too is that there's so many layers of floof that you're not really gonna notice these small details, which frankly is the kind of project that I like to do. Just means that we can get through this part into what I consider to be the most fun part. So next you'll want some watercolor. I happen to have this really cool set that's kind of shimmery, which I think looks pretty. Any watercolor will do. And like I always want to remind everybody too, if you don't have a specific, if you don't have a specific material, you might think of other things you could substitute, like would you have acrylic paint that you could water down? Would you have, what else could you use? What do you think, Tina? Chalk, if you had like multicolored chalk that you could water down, you might even be able to create some cool effects with that. Oh my goodness, I know. So this is my favorite part. I'm simply dragging a brush along the edges. I'm starting with the color blue It just appealed to me. Oh, I know life is so horrible for you. There you go, girl. Boston Terriers have a lot of energy and like a lot of attention, which is part of the reason why I'm doing this Craftin with Tina, because there's no way that I could be doing a YouTube video in here with the door closed and her not coming in to see what business is happening. If the door is closed, she wants to see what's on the other side of it. She's gotta be, you gotta be up in my business. Okay. So, as you're going along the edges, you can bring it down farther if you want. Or you can just do a very light touch along the edge. One thing about the coffee filters is they're a little water resistant, of course, because usually there's water dripping through them. But the color does spread quickly, so you don't need to use a lot of water, really. A little bit will go a long way. I'm thinking kind of a mermaid look for this. I'm gonna go blues, greens, maybe a little purple. And we're back. Tina's just chilling out right now and taking a nap. If you watch these videos and you're wondering, dang, how do they feed that tiny dog so much? Just know that we actually have her food portioned out for the day so that she gets the right amount of calories, and because she eats so fast, a lot of times that's how I end up feeding her, is just one little piece at a time, because otherwise she will just gobble up her food whole. Right now what I'm doing is bringing in some purples to get that mermaid look that I was going for. And I think this has taken a little bit longer than I expected. And I don't know that we need this size of like a detailed brush. I might go in and get a bigger brush to work with so we can make some big sweeping strokes. We're gonna try instead painting with this wider brush so that we can get a little more painted at once. Won't take quite as long to paint each and every layer. It can paint a few layers at a time. And it can be fun to just go in and build certain areas up with more color and then leave other areas more subtle and light and just lightly dusted. I like this paintbrush here. It's Mod Podge brand, and if you're familiar with Mod Podge, it was a very popular craft in the 70s. It's sort of like a seal coat of glue that you can use to decoupage, which is a fancy word for collage, making a collage and then sealing it. So, you know, their materials are pretty inexpensive, and I wouldn't expect to have found a brush made by them that I like so much, but I will say this has like nice fibers. I like that hot pink color, and it has been working out just as well as any of the more professional grade expensive brushes that I've purchased. And I'm not getting paid to say any of this. I don't even have that kind of followership, that many followers yet to even be paid for that kind of promotion. Maybe one day. This is just my own personal seal of approval that I like Mod Podge and Mod Podge accessories. Alright, so I'm getting like, let's Let's focus this in a little so you can see. I'm getting like some really pretty purples and blues, but you'll notice the middle of this is still pretty plain. So I'm gonna bring in some color there. Just big sweeps of color. Just doing a streak. And almost the more uneven it looks, the more pleasing it is to look at. Because when you think of a flower or anything in nature, there's usually, I mean, it's organic. There's some variation to it. So I like to just be sort of loose with it. I'm putting some purple here. And then we talked about getting some mermaid colors. And I mean, while purple and blue are beautiful, I think in order to truly be mermaid colors, we've got to get some of this pretty metallic, this metallic green in here. And then I'm going to try to do some, see if I can get it real concentrated so I'm not putting too much water on this as I go along, so that it's just picking up a lot of the pigment. Ooh, look at that. I haven't even tried this technique. I'm folding it a bit. Ah, yes. Those colors, I think, play together quite nicely. I'm feeling like you could leave this here white if you want. I'm really enjoying this mermaid pattern, so I'm going to go with it. Mermaid it up. And right now it looks like I'm holding a little taco shell or a seashell. This even has a little sparkle to it, which I love. And I believe these watercolors were purchased, I think they might have been a Target purchase. Okay, I'm gonna come over to this side, put some shimmery green. And there are certain instances where I do like to pay for a little bit nicer watercolors. For instance, if I'm doing a portrait for somebody, like a pet portrait, that kind of thing, I would want to have watercolors that have just really rich pigment to them. The kinds that you get, like, you know, your Crayola watercolors and things that you get at Target or Walmart, they tend to be, I don't know, almost like a little more plasticky and not as gritty, and they don't seem to, the pigment doesn't seem to attach quite as well to the paper. However, that said, something like this, where you're not doing a lot of fine detail, these colors here are just so much fun. Where you're not doing a lot of detail, these colors here are just so much fun. You've got that, you know, the shimmer and the glitter. And I am really happy with how this is looking. When you get to this stage, you're gonna notice that the coffee filters are pretty wet. So if this is a gift for someone, make sure you make it about a day in advance, and it will all dry up on its own in about a day. And then at that point, you can kind of just fuss with this until it starts looking less like a big stack of coffee filters and more like a beautiful flower. Thanks for watching. I'm Joanna, this is Tina, and we'll see you next time. Say bye, Tina. Bye. She burped.